Woo! Do I have a story for y'all? We're going to start off season 6 with a bang, y'all.
Do tell.
Well, that could mean a lot of things, as we know. Continue, please.
I'm going to share my layoff story from my most recent letting go, I guess, which I know you ladies have heard this, so bear with me, but I need to share because it is fucking wild. So a little backstory is I was with this company for 3 years. It was a startup. I was one of the first 50. So I helped build specifically the HR department from the ground up. In January of this year, I got a new leader. Unfortunately, my leader left, loved her. I would have followed her anywhere. Unfortunately, I couldn't at this particular time because she went to another startup and she didn't have positions open yet. But we got a new leader. And I could tell early on that she was going to make changes in our department. And I felt it. And she was not very necessarily open, but the questions she was asking me, for instance, can I have a copy of your job description? Can you, in an email, tell me exactly what you do, how you do it? Can you invite me to meetings that, you are a part of? Because I just want to learn. But to me, that wasn't learning. And it would be, in theory, micromanaging, right? Like, I get she's new. She wants to understand each of the people in their roles in her department. Now, the people department is now hers. She wants to understand it. Probably about 3 months into her taking this position, she had to let me know that my position was being eliminated. Okay, it sucks. I didn't necessarily not expect it, but she asked me to go ahead and figure out a date that worked for me to be my last day. So I went ahead, I wrote her an email, and I was very careful with my choice of words because I was not resigning. I was being let go. So in my email, I even titled it at the top, My Last Day. And I picked a date. It was about a month out. So I was giving them a month worth of work where I was trying to tie up my loose ends, pass on work that needed to be passed on, et cetera, et cetera. Because I have 3 years worth of stuff I built from the ground up, right? So about a week before my final day, which my final day was this past April, I get an email from our HRBP, and it is my Tennessee separation notice. Because in the state of Tennessee, you must provide a separation notice. And it's marked voluntary separation. And I was like, wait a minute, skirt. So I, of course, having access to all employee files, go look in my file and see my resignation. However, I didn't resign. So I pulled it up and I see that the email that I sent had been altered from my original email I sent, that I was resigning my position effective X date in April, whereas my email read, thanks for our conversation this morning. I will be giving there was whole 2 sentences of mine removed. So I did what any normal person would do. I immediately sent it to our general counsel and I said, what the fuck? I said, in my 21 years of HR, I have never, ever seen anything so unethical that a senior leader of HR would alter someone's resignation when it was not a resignation at all.
Literally changed your words.
Yep.
Deleted those and put that sentences like it was your words, not forwarded your email and then added her own sentence, right?
Yep.
Right. Not notes from leader, FYI. Like,
it was my email. So, and I PDF'd my original, and obviously what was in my file was PDF, and I sent it to that general counsel because I was like, how fucking dare she? And there was a lot of other stuff that I'll probably get into one day. I was promised my PTO. I didn't get it. I got shitted on severance. I got, not the standard amount. I fought it as much as I could, but I know they just wanted me out and it was messy. But the altered resignation, which was not a resignation, was really the most damaging thing. And I hope that woman remembers that for the rest of her career and what a fucked up mistake she made, because we should not be touching any resignations, any kind of documentation that gets to us. There should be nothing that should be altered. As HR professionals, that is something we have to do to protect our employees. I was protecting myself in this case, but...
Did it cost her any money?
No, of course not. Not a damn dime.
Then she'll only remember it as a play that she can take to exit somebody.
And I don't think it was probably her first time either. I feel like that's got to be learned behavior.
But that's so It's so strange. Now, have you had a conversation or communication with her ever since she was found out?
Yes, she apologized and she said,
Ooh.
yeah, she said that she didn't want to embarrass me. And I said, but you realize not only what you're creating, I already told everyone I was being laid off anyway, girl, please. But what she created was a chain of events because then I was marked as a voluntary termination. I received the wrong Tennessee separation notice. I wouldn't be eligible for unemployment. Like, that was really dumb because it set off a chain of events that she should have understood being a senior leader in human resources would affect. The worst part, too, is she asked me to send her an email with a list of everyone and the date I was going to tell them I was leaving. She had to have it, but she never made any announcement of my departure. And keep in mind, I'm one of the eldest employees there. I've been with the company since the jump. I was known as HR the only HR person, because I was literally the first person half these people met. So, and I had to go by a list. And there are certain people I couldn't tell. She had to tell them. It was the wildest fucking shit. Oh, and I left on a Friday and my position was posted by Monday.
Jamie, I just, for those listening, there's a reason our podcast is called HR Besties, but there is clearly room for this leader to have a podcast called HR Worsties.
Yes. Oh my God.
Don't do any of this. Don't alter emails. If you tell someone their position is being eliminated, wait, was it your same position effectively being reposted?
Yes. So it was all my duties. However, they changed the title to one level up, even more fucked up.
We'll get into this, I'm sure, in the heart of the episode. But the thing I used to always say to people when I was, whether I was legal or generally in these conversations, people are like, well, it's going to change the title. I'm like, okay, but let's think about how people think about that. Like, if you're letting Greg go, is everybody going to talk about, let's say Jenny's coming in, but is everybody going to call Jenny the new Greg? Is that how people would think of it? Well, maybe, but it's a different title. Well, same as if you can title an agreement, an independent contractor agreement, that does not make someone an independent contractor, but that's for another day. But I am sorry.
It's all good. I definitely, and I've shared this on my social media, I definitely struggled because I didn't realize how much my self-worth was tied to my career and climbing the corporate ladder. And just, I think I'm an elder millennial. We've talked about this, ladies, but elder millennials, we were drilled. You go to college, you go get your master's, and then you get in the workforce, and you climb that ladder. And we did all the things right. And so to kind of be smacked in the face, it's like a step back, but I feel much better now. I'm a few months out of it, and I'm fine. I'm fine. But I couldn't wait to tell the story.
Wow.
When life gives you content, you make content aid.
Of course.
Content aid. I like that.
So good, so good, so good.
Ready to rack to school and save big? Get to your Nordstrom Rack store today for thousands of deals from just $20.
Because I want to look fresh.
How did I not know Rack has Adidas?
I got a new backpack.
Score everyone's favorite denim, sneakers, boots, and activewear from Nike, Levi's, Steve Madden, Madewell, and Free People. Great brands, great prices. Everyone's got a reason to rack. Shop Nordstrom Rack and make it the best school year ever.
This episode is brought to you by the world's first reposado from Tequila Herradura. Made with slow-cooked, hand-harvested agave sealed into oak barrels and aged 11 months. Before being enjoyed in your glass. Experience the world's first reposado. Tequila Herradura. Please drink responsibly. Responsibility.org. Tequila Herradura. 40% alcohol by volume. Imported by Brown-Forman, Louisville, Kentucky. Herradura is a registered trademark. Copyright 2025 Brown-Forman Corporation.
Well, I'm sure that we will touch back on, is that a cringe one? Is that a cringe speak?
Probably.
We'll circle back. There we go. We'll circle back, I'm sure, to your story there through this episode because it's all about job loss. Before we get into that main topic, should I do a rundown of the agenda?
Please do.
Thank you so much, Jamie, for being vulnerable because that sucks. Oof, man, that is some water cooler talk if I ever heard it right there. Next up on the docket is Cringe Corporate Speak, and Ashley is at bat for that. And then we will transition to our meeting hot topic, which is all things layoffs, job loss, coping with, that sort of big transition there. And then, of course, as always, at the end, some questions and comments before we have that hard stop. Ashley, what do you got for us?
Well, my cringe corporate speak for the day is difficult, but necessary. And where this comes into play is sometimes with these layoff announcements, and you'll see often the CEO, like the CEO's notice to team members and says, this was so hard, it was difficult, but necessary. And I think it's the necessary part to me that just feels like it invites so many questions, if not cringe. Have you all heard this, seen this?
Yes.
Yes.
And with layoffs.
Which to me, it sounds like, sorry, but we have to screw you.
Yeah. Like, sorry, you were just fucked, but it was necessary.
Yeah. Very disingenuous. Something about it, right? It's squirrely.
There's certain situations where nonprofit, for example, where you live and die by the grants. And if you get your grant funding pulled away or you have things like that and you literally can't, that is a pretty rare exception where you literally can't make payroll if that happens. And it's a really hard one that I know some nonprofits are going through now. And that's an exception to that I would give an asterisk to that. But often where you see it is for-profit organizations when they're having their record year, and yet this is told necessary. And so I think you got to be super careful. And when you're in HR, your voice doesn't always have the power that it should, but just having that perspective of like, this is going to invite some questions if we say necessary. Are there other things that we could possibly say if it's done and executives are still getting huge bonuses and stock things and shares are up and all of that, or just otherwise people can tell like that's interesting because we just had this really expensive thing happen or office upgrades or whatever. And so the word necessary to me is the cringe part of that 3-part phrase.
Absolutely, because it is just cloaked in subjectivity. To your point, I mean, especially for-profit, we've got all these budget buckets and we can shift them all around. What do you mean it's necessary to lay people off? No, not necessarily, right? Unless we are literally shutting the doors, and closing up shop. It's that. It's that word there, just the subjectivity about it. Ooh. It is cringy.
I'm going to look up right now just as we get into the regular one if I see difficult but necessary.
Because I would just say we have to make hard decisions, which we do as leaders, as businesses, tough calls.
Oh, I see. When I Google it quickly, I see some. Sure do. I see difficult but necessary is coming up quite a bit with some very large organizational announcements. So no.
It's ick. Oh, speaking of ick, great transition to the hot topic of the day, all things job loss, layoffs. Now, does Jamie's story, is that even a layoff? I mean, what was that even? I mean, it was like a job elimination, but not, because then they just posted the job. It was a term that wasn't, but is, but you know what I mean? What was that besides lies?
Yeah, I mean, I guess I was fired, right?
You were like tricked into resigning.
I'm assuming I was more fired than anything else.
Cruel.
Yeah. And granted, there have been people since me. There's been 4 people that have had to leave as well in the people department. So, I mean, I do think that she really was restructuring the department how she wanted to be. I unfortunately was the first casualty, and mine was just handled poorly,
to say the least. But I do think it's for things like job loss, it's really hard because it's really personal. And I do think a lot, especially at the top, like, it may be PR of like, okay, people are often thinking about investors. They're not thinking about the people impacted as much when it comes to messaging these things, but it can feel hard. So people call it a layoff or a job reduction or things like that. But just knowing personally, Jamie's point right there of, I don't know why this happened. And so I think leaders often will say that, and they'll say, we're restructuring, it's a job. But then you see your position being reposted. You haven't talked to her about the fact that the job was reposted, I assume. Have you?
No.
And filled by her friend.
Well, technically, my last day was that Friday and it was posted that Monday. So
you're not talking to her.
Yes. And it was filled by her friend. So in theory, I was laid off to make room for her friend. It was a difficult but necessary decision.
You fired yourself so her friend could be promoted there.
Yes.
Legal Ashley's head wants to blow, right? Oh, man.
It does want to. And people will say things like, okay, hold on. Like, what she did to Jamie's email, is that illegal? And again, like, I'm not a lawyer licensed in Tennessee. Often things like that are, whether it's illegal or not, the ramifications, like, you're not going to, unfortunately, Jamie's probably not going to go to court and get the $10 million settlement we would all love her to have.
I am not.
To continue a life, but she's going to have to be on this podcast instead. Thank you.
Listen to the ads.
From a legal perspective, it drives me crazy because so many people in the workplace, including people in leadership, they manage to the lowest common denominator of what can we do? What do we have to do as a question for compliance? What can we do to get around that? Well, these are my goals. I want to be surrounded by people I like, that are like me, that are like my friends. So I need to, right size and get these other people out. And you just forget the absolute humanity in your decision, which sometimes it's going to be made. Totally get it. Sometimes it's going to be made. Often it does not need to be made. And it's made in terrible ways without conversations. Like, all of these things. And so forgetting this level of humanity has such repercussions for people who then they lose their job. In the US, that often means, I know, Jamie, I know this, your health insurance is through your husband who works for the city. So thank you. But
yeah, I'm very lucky in that aspect.
But how crazy is that? How crazy is that? And I know our global listeners still, whether you don't know this or it always is so baffling, but in the US, your health insurance is often tied. And so not only does that implicate, how am I going to pay for these bills, your self-worth, your family's medical care, it impacts so much. And so that's the thing that I often work with organizations. I get it's going to happen. I totally get it. But think about how you can make it happen a lot less and a lot more humanely, because it's not right what you went through, Jamie. It's not. And it's not right what other people are going through.
Well, and I think, a lot of times we fight the stigma online of HR's villainized, especially now after the Coldplay concert incident, right? I mean, we are villainized and we always have been. But truthfully, in my 21 years, and I think you ladies can probably concur that I have never ever actually seen bad HR until that moment. I had not personally had to deal with it because I want to believe that 95 to 98% of us actually want to do good. Not by the company, but by the employees and protecting the employees, but also obviously there's the company aspect too, because we're all employees of the company. So HR, no, is probably not your friend. But that was the first time I had physically had that happen where bad HR was a real thing.
I see bad HR, but the vast majority, I can't say never.
Yeah, I've seen a lot about it.
But Leigh, when you think about things like job loss,
yeah,
and a lot of what you do is toxic workplace. Sometimes it's toxic workplace survival. So sometimes that means figuring out how you want to do it at your workplace. Other means it's getting out. But what about those people that are, even if they find their workplace toxic, they lose their job and they lose that opportunity? What do you say in those situations?
Well, literally, right? I mean, just to take that literally instead of figuratively, it's always, I'm sorry. Like, it is a very difficult transition. Like, please take the time for you that you need to heal and, get support, surround yourself with those that you can lean on, seek therapy, right? Whatever it is you need, however it is you heal from something, because just the experience of a layoff or any sort of termination is profound. I mean, it can really be earth-shattering. Ashley, to your point, especially being here in the United States, it's not only the loss, of benefits, but a lot of times it's the loss of, identity and self-worth. Like Jamie was mentioning before, your whole majority of your day is now, it's just open. you take into account that I think, at least the last I saw, 7 out of 10 Americans live paycheck to paycheck. And very quickly, it's easy, to see how people can become homeless, especially those even that have jobs or going between jobs. It's just wild, right? We have lots of drama and strife. But first, it's always, gosh, I feel for you that you had to go through such just an insane, probably horrific experience, because we're really bad at it. I just know that we are really bad at terminating people. It's already a bad sort of, a thing, right? I mean, experience. And so that is really, really tough. But taking the time you need for yourself to heal and giving yourself grace, because there really is a lot of grief around it, I guess is what I'm trying to say. And people grieve in different intervals, and people, the grief can last a really long time, especially if you experience abuse in the workplace. It can be very profound. You may not get over it. Some people actually do develop PTSD and anxiety and depression and all these other things. And so really just giving yourself time. Then on the flip side, I always say, and then, I'm just going to talk to myself, right? Because I've been terminated before and it really sucked. It was really shocking. On the flip side, it's like, gosh, when I was fired, I knew in that moment, though, that was the absolute best thing to have ever happened to me professionally. I just knew it, because I was working so tirelessly and endlessly and just ridiculously for my workforce. I would have never quit.
Same.
Even though I was being abused and tortured, literally, in all ways except physically. Only because I was working remote, though, probably. I would have never given up on them, while I gave up on myself years ago and just accepted the fact that, it's okay that I'm being abused by my leaders or my CEO or my boss or whatever. So I knew in that moment, God, this is saving me. And this is absolutely the best thing to have ever happened to me. I'm going to have faith in that. Like, they exited me from something I would not have exited myself from. So it was kind of this mix of screw you, but thank you at the same time. Is weird, So, doors close and really other doors do open, right? I mean, that's really what inspires new ventures and entrepreneurism and, rising from the ashes. So it's kind of two-sided, that's kind of how I look at it. It's like, damn, this sucks. I'm going to sit in it and feel it so I can get through it. But also I'm inspired too.
Do you ever wish that you had an HR legal bestie in your pocket? 650 is just that. Your trusted, always available ally for your employment law questions, minus the hefty price tag of a lawyer. Compliance may not be your favorite chore in HR, but it's important and it's hard. But 650 is here to make it easy. With 650, managing multi-state HR compliance is a breeze. Their tools help you to understand complex state laws and craft compliant documents effortlessly, but also keep everything up to date automatically. They have a comprehensive "What's the law in this state" library to a 50-state employee handbook builder. 650 turns compliance into convenience. So, HR pros juggling multi-state teams, simplify your compliance today. Visit 650.com/besties. That's SIXFIFTY.com/besties and discover how to stay ahead with 650's seamless solutions. I've been talking about this girls' trip I'm going on, and it's about to happen. And I have a suitcase full of things I got at Quince. And now my friends do too, because I told them about it. But now I'm thinking, what am I going to need when I come back from the trip? Because soon it's going to be fall. I'm thinking about a cotton sweater, maybe starting at just $40. Well, whatever I get, the best part is everything at Quince is half the cost of similar brands. They work directly with top artisans and cut out the middlemen. So you get luxury without the markup. Quince only works with factories that have safe, ethical, and responsible manufacturing practices and use premium fabrics and finishes. So, on this girls' trip, I got a super cute red, like long maxi-ish dress. And I've actually worn it before the girls' trip. I know, normally I wait, but I couldn't. And so I love it. Now I'm thinking about beefing up my wardrobe with some of those sweaters because I've gotten some there and I love them. And I love how affordable it is as well. Elevate your fall wardrobe essentials with Quince. Go to quince.com/HRBesties for free shipping on your order and 365-day returns. That's QUINCE.com/HRBesties to get free shipping and 365-day returns. It's quince.com/HRBesties. I think the questions oftentimes that can be helpful is after job loss and recognizing, like to Leigh's point, I think it's a weird experience.
Mind fuck.
And then you're thinking, okay, you're out for a walk. You're thinking, okay, I have time for this. Then something hits you and you're so pissed off about it again. And it's the back and forth. And so just knowing, letting those thoughts in, let that thought sit there and try to let it out. But also thinking 2 questions for yourself of, what do I have to do now for myself? What do I have to do for myself, for my family? What do I have to do? And what do I want to do? Because it's that. Sometimes you got to figure out a lot of the have to in the in-between. But I agree. I mean, look at Leigh, what you've built. But Jamie, look at what you're putting together. And I know you've had this time with your family that, at one hand, it creates real stresses. On the flip side, you have these things. And so it cannot always be that mix, but thinking about to yourself, what do I have to do? And what do I want to do? And letting yourself take that time to think about what you want to do.
Yeah. I mean, I think the first thing really is let yourself be angry and upset too. Like, it's okay to like feel those feelings of like devastation and process everything and, however long you need to. Cause like I even still have days and I'm how many months now? 3 months in and almost 4. And I still have days where I'm just like, I don't want to go on job boards. I don't want to do anything. I just still want to lay in bed and be sad. I think that's okay. I think it's okay to like take a break from that and still allow yourself to feel those feelings because it is a lot. And I don't think I ever realized how tied I was to my job and my career, sadly. And now, though, I will take that into my next job. I won't be as tied. Maybe I'll have better boundaries. Maybe I don't know what that'll look like, but it's just going to be different because I'm not going to be tied so that if this happens again to me, I won't be as devastated, I guess. Because I've always known this. Like, look, I think what hurt the most about this one is I actually left this job and they begged me to come back. They gave me more money, a bigger title, and I did. So to me, I felt like I was needed. They wanted me back, right? So it was kind of a mind fuck to then just be let go a year back after I've been back a year, and it played more into my thoughts that they needed me back because I'm like, but they need me. They needed me, but they didn't need me. And that's the thing is everyone sadly is replaceable. Doesn't mean they're going to do as good job as you, but we are replaceable. I think I was probably a liability because I was always going to speak up and I was going to say if something, and that's how I am and how I always been.
Jamie, honestly, I don't think it had anything to do with you. I think this is just the reality sometimes of when you inherit a new leader. So I think, we all aim to explain, control a situation.
Yes, to understand it.
Try and figure it out.
Yeah.
I think that understand it, right? And, and sometimes internalize that and be like, if I had just blank, if only I was this, they did that because I'm Y or X or whatever. Honestly, I don't think that had anything to do with you. At all. I think new leaders coming in, sometimes they clean house, just to put their own people in place and hook up their friends and whatever. So I don't think it's because you were a liability or that it had anything to do with you. So I hope that you don't lay in bed at night and think, God, if only I was just a little X or Y or whatever. I think you're great just as you are. And I just don't think it had anything to do with you. I think it was her feeling threatened. I think it was her cleaning house, coming in new. I think it was her surrounding herself with her advocates and promoters. And that's just sometimes how it is. It doesn't matter how good you are. It does not matter. It does not matter. When you have someone in a position of power, they can make any fucking decision they want. They will do anything to get their way. And sometimes you have players like that just, again, to Ashley's previous point about humanity, they don't see it that way. They do not care. And so I think it's wild that she told you, oh, I didn't want to embarrass you. Bullshit.
Mm-hmm.
Honesty is respect, and respect is honesty. And I think that's the real message here, kind of at the end of this topic to leaders, is that do not bullshit people. Like if you have to make a hard decision, a difficult but necessary decision or whatever, that's fine, because as leaders and as managers, we have to do a lot of things we freaking hate to do. I've had to fire people I didn't want to fire.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I fought it. And we have to deliver tough messages all the time. We have to do all these things, right? But when you do deliver a tough message, be as honest as you possibly can, and enough with the bullshit. No one's buying that. At least give people their dignity and respect when you're showing them out the door. It's unpleasant, but it's also just how it is sometimes. But Jamie, I don't think it had anything to do with you, and fuck her.
For real, fuck you.
And don't forge emails.
Yeah, don't alter anyone's anything. God. And that goes for leaders too.
That's why that's not incompetence. Because you said, oh, she made dumbass decisions and blah. Like you said that. You're like, you know what I mean? You're like, oh, she did. She's not incompetent.
No.
She's cruel.
Yeah.
All that shit was on purpose, and she's full of shit. She wants her way. The end. She doesn't give a fuck who you are. She'll just move you aside. Some people are like that.
Mic drop.
Ooh, sometimes you get fired for no reason, especially if you're American. It's crazy.
At will.
Same day.
At will.
I know, at will. I mean, one thing I'll say just to add this is people will say constantly, well, I can't do anything about it because attorneys are so expensive. Generally, most employee side attorneys will have free consultations in the US, and they take cases on contingency, which means it's like when you hear the commercials in personal injury things of like, I get paid if you get paid. That's how it generally works. Not always, but generally works. In employment cases, that being said, employment laws in the US do tend to be stacked in favor of the employer. And so people can have that consult and say, no lawyers taking my case, and that can happen. That may mean it is not illegal within the US employment laws, but it doesn't mean it wasn't unfair and cruel. And it's not still, right for you to have those very real feelings. And now it just means it is time for you to figure out that next chapter. That's one thing I get sometimes. This message is sponsored by Greenlight. Do you remember summers as a kid? I used to go outside, not be allowed to come back until the light came on, and have $1 or $2 to last all day. I can't even do that now with my kids, mainly because I never carry cash. But summer is the perfect time to teach your kids real-world money skills they'll use forever. With Greenlight. Greenlight is a debit card and money app made for families to help kids learn how to save, invest, and spend wisely. Parents, you can send money to your kids and keep an eye on how they're spending and even saving. And kids and teens can build money confidence and skills in a way that feels fun, not like a lesson. The Greenlight app includes a chores feature, so you can do one-time or recurring chores, customize it to your household, and reward kids with an allowance. I love Greenlight when I get an alert every time my kids spend money so I can know exactly where it's going. Greenlight is the easy, convenient way for parents to raise financially smart kids and families to navigate life together. Maybe that's why millions of parents trust and kids love learning about money on Greenlight, the #1 family finance and safety app. Don't wait to teach your kids real-world money skills. Start your risk-free Greenlight trial today at greenlight.com/besties. That's greenlight.com/besties to get started. greenlight.com/besties.
I think when we started the podcast, we really thought it was just going to be like us and our mics and our thoughts, but it was actually so much more than that. We were the editor, the producer, the social media manager, the scheduler, the graphic designer. Basically, it's a lot. And don't get me wrong, it's all very exciting. But I remember thinking, I wish there was one place we could go to at least make some of this easier. And that's exactly what Shopify is for business owners. Whether you're selling merch, launching a new product, or building your brand from scratch, Shopify is the business partner that helps you get started and keeps you going. It's like having an entire team in your corner, but one that actually knows what's going on. Shopify is the commerce platform behind millions of businesses around the world and 10% of all e-commerce in the US, from household names like Mattel and Gymshark to brands that are just getting started. Get started with your own design studio with hundreds of ready-to-use templates. Shopify helps you build a beautiful online store to match your brand style. Accelerate your content creation. Shopify is packed with helpful AI tools that help you write product descriptions, page headlines, and even enhance your product photography. Get the word out like you have a marketing team behind you. Easily create email and social media campaigns whenever your customers are scrolling or strolling. And best yet, Shopify is your commerce expert with expertise in everything from managing inventory to international shipping to processing refunds and beyond. So if you're ready to sell, you're ready for Shopify. Turn your big business idea into with Shopify on your side. Sign up for your $1 a month trial and start selling today at shopify.com/HRBesties. Go to shopify.com/HRBesties. Shopify.com/HRBesties.
Shall we do some questions and comments? Wrap this up. Gosh.
Sure. I have a question.
Ooh, do ask.
So this is our first episode back after a summer break, and we got lots of DMs and things like that of when you're all going to be back. But what did you all enjoy, or what did you do interesting on your summer break?
Ashley, I feel like you should go first because you actually did something very cool.
Me? Well, okay. So I went to Alaska. So I did go to Alaska, and I talked about how I was going to Alaska. I did a cruise to Alaska, and I thought about playing golf. A very nice HR Besties listener wrote me a very robust email with suggestions of Alaska. It was very helpful. Another Manager Method follower had sent me a recommendation for a restaurant in Victoria, British Columbia, because we stopped there too, which was Wind Cries Mary. I will say, amazing. Top 3 dinners of my life. And so I love getting that feedback. On a professional side, my husband joined Manager Method as Chief Customer Officer. So we're very excited. And so he's been talking to a lot. Some of you listening may have spoken to Mr. Manager Method, aka Dan. But to this point, I'll say this, I add bonus modules to our Manager 101 course. And this summer I added difficult conversations, which includes 13 difficult conversations, including a framework for managers to have any difficult conversation in a positive way. And it does not include altering emails. So anyway, you can, little plug, check it out at managermethod.com. That's all I'll say there. And now I'll move on to you two.
I want to go to Denali. Go ahead, Jamie.
Well, we have had some construction in our backyard. And this is kind of ironic because I also was laid off. But back in February, we signed a contract to put a pool in. Terrible timing to be fired. But unfortunately, we actually have been saving for a pool since 2019. And we already had signed the contract and we were already too much money in to halt the construction project. But our pool is now going to be officially ready. And that means we can jump in it this weekend. And I'm so excited. The kids are so excited. We're already planning parties. It's something that we've wanted for a long time. And now that it's real, it's wild. So I don't know how I'm going to pay for it, but we got a pool.
Don't skip the ads.
Don't skip the ads, please.
Let them try to repo that shit.
Yeah, try to repo. It's already in my fucking backyard.
That is a good point. How does that? Is that where they fill it with dishwasher detergent? Womp womp.
Cement or something? Yeah.
Sand.
Oh, I'm sad. I won't give him any ideas. I'm so excited. I love, when you follow Jamie, especially on Chief Meme Officer, she'll post some pool content. I will be honest. I've loved the above ground pool, the inflatable pool, and I've loved your water slide. And so.
Yes. We loved our bougie poolgie, but this is the bougie poojie 2.0.
It is. It's next generation, Jamie, and you deserve that joy. I am excited, and I'm going to scoot myself up to your pool ASAP. So see you then.
Yes, please.
So is it bad timing, Jamie, or perfect timing, honestly? Maybe it's all supposed to work out that way.
Probably perfect timing, right? Because I really do feel like that. I will say something kind of cheesy too, to kind of go with our episode, but my job ended, but I didn't.
No, it's healthy.
It's cheesy, I know, but we're going to keep moving on. And whether it's me going all in on social media and the podcast or getting another job, I'm not sure what that looks like right now. And I enjoy not knowing, to be completely honest. It's a little scary, of course. But I just appreciate having you ladies. You ladies have been a godsend during this transition period, and I've been able to vent to you guys and keep my head steady. Because there was definitely days, especially when I was going through this, that I was like, I'm going to lose it. I'm gonna come unglued.
That you have not lived until you've gotten a nice Leigh voice memo reassurance. Luckily, I was included on those as well. You deserve it, Jay. We love you.
Enjoy that pool. I have a pool, so I will not bitch about the maintenance of that pool right now.
Yeah, I know. God, please don't. Thankfully, that's my husband's job.
Highly recommend a pool boy.
I'm just going to look pretty.
Exactly. You're just going to look pretty on the outside. Exactly. What did I do this summer? I went to a conference in San Diego.
Conference was that, Leigh? I don't know. Was that a pool maintenance conference? I think that probably was, huh?
It was a conference for an organization I've never been a member of. I know that much.
that Jamie is legally barred from being within 50 feet of the...
But the reality is that conference with its numbers is like the Super Bowl of HR. You know what I mean? In the sense that there's so many people that you get to meet up with, reconnect with, and all of this, and people that I work with and what I do now and all of that. So I had a really, really good time there, and then spent, another week in California. So I was in California a couple of weeks here over the summer. So that was nice.
And you signed a fairly important agreement. I feel like you was in there during the break, right?
Yeah. I'm all, oh, yeah. See, I don't remember shit. So thank you. Yeah. I signed a book deal.
Yay!
With Harper Business.
Besties with
I
books.
know. Yeah. So flew up to New York with my agent, my literary agent. Went to their headquarters, signed that shit. That was amazing.
So cool.
So now I just have to finish it. And it'll be out, at least we're planning, the beginning of 2027. So, of course, me, how I am, I'm like, God, I hope I live till then.
That is a millennial statement, though. I do feel like that.
Yes. I mean,
actually, I don't know. Honestly, that's the type of stuff my grandmother would say as well years ago. So there's a big age range, but that's relatable.
The way the world's headed now, shit, right?
I know. Hopefully live to see it, but
we can't wait to read it.
I just got to finish it.
I'll get on top of there. I can write it while I'm in the pool.
Oh, love it.
I'd read an HR romance novel from Jamie.
That sounds good, actually.
Collaboration. Actually, the three of us could collab. It'll be like Sisterhood of the Traveling Manuscript.
Smut.
They'd be like, so we walked into the arena and we could hear Coldplay had already started their set.
And Luke was in the balcony waiting.
Luke embraced me from behind.
No. Yeeks.
With his trembling manhood.
Oh, jeez.
Okay. You'll have to hear the rest at our HR conference, which now Leigh's talking about the numbers, the HR Besties conference. After 2027, after Leigh's book comes out, we'll have the big keynote at the HR Besties mega conference.
So I have a quick comment. Not a question, but a quick comment. Just reflecting on the times that I've left organizations or transitioned or was terminated or whatever. There's a part of you that really wants revenge. Like if it was not so pretty. You know what I mean? Like it can inspire like these ugly feelings, hate, like anger, frustration, all of these things. But I'll just say that the only thing you can control is you. And the best revenge is your own success. I mean, feel bad for those people that they are still in that hellhole that you are transitioning out of. And karma will get them. That's what's happened to me. And it is so delicious to watch, seeing karma just rip the asshole out of people, because it will catch up with ugly people. I mean, and when you have a toxic boss or whatever the situation was, like I always think, God, but they have to live with themselves like that. Like, oh, they're so ugly. Oh, like inside. Oh, that's just, oh, they already have to live like that. Like they're already getting their punishment. Don't worry about that crap. As much as you can, let that go and just focus on yourself in the future as much as you can. It's just not worth trying to live back there.
And I'll just end it with, I know I've received so many DMs from people also that have been laid off or recently let go. And this job market is absolute insanity right now. So just hang in there, take breaks. I posted something like this a month ago, but allow yourself to have a day where you don't get on job boards because it's overwhelming. And you wake up and you have 30 emails saying, thanks, but no thanks. And it's a lot. So if you need to take breaks, enjoy things that you forgot you enjoyed, maybe napping. It's fun. I don't get to do it quite as often. My kids go back to school, thankfully, soon. But, try to do things you enjoy.
I love that. Just be good to yourselves, bestie.
Hi, I'm Tamsin Fidel, journalist and author of How to Menopause and host of The Tamsin Show, a weekly podcast with your roadmap to midlife and beyond. We cover it all, from dating to divorce, aging to ADHD, sleep to sex, brain health to body fat, and even how perimenopause can affect your relationships. And trust me, it can. Each week, I sit down with doctors, experts, and leaders in longevity for unfiltered conversations packed with advice on everything from hormones to happiness. And of course, how to stay sane during what can be, well, let's face it, a pretty chaotic chapter of life. Think of us as your midlife survival guide. New episodes released every Wednesday. Listen now on Apple, Spotify, or wherever you get your podcasts.